post up whisper videos for the true crime, which allows me to not show my face and really just focus on the visual that I do the overlay. It also makes it a lot easier to do filming that way, which helps me be able to stay consistent with the schedule that I have set for myself, which is Sundays and Wednesdays for posting. Sundays is the Sunday Scaries, and Wednesdays is Wicked Wednesdays. I am trying to figure out a way to incorporate a third day for releasing a video. I don't know if I can realistically make that happen every week right now, but it is something I am thinking about. So yeah, just stay tuned for that. I'm just running my nails over my little beaded bracelets here. I hope that sound is not bothersome to you, but this video that I am filming now will be posted on a day other than Sunday or Wednesday. This will not replace your typical true crime spooky videos that I put out. This one is just more for fun. I did ask you guys in my community tab to shoot me some questions for a Q&A if you had them, or to email me if you did not want to post them publicly. So I did have 4 people post, and then I did get some emails as well. So I'm going to answer your questions today, and be as honest as I possibly can. In all areas of my life, I try to be as much of an open book as possible. So that really should be no different here. So I have my phone with me to read the questions off of. And then I also have a glass of wine. This glass looks massive on screen because it is. It wasn't intended to be so big. I literally bought a 4-pack of wine glasses just 2 days ago, I think it was, from Home Goods, because in the last year, apparently I have broken, between me and my boyfriend, we have broken all but one wine glass, so I had to get a new set, and I didn't realize how large these would be. I love wine, for the record. Specifically white wine. This is Sauvignon Blanc, which is most definitely my favorite white wine. Red wine I do like, but only in like the fall and winter. I cannot drink it in summer because where I live it is too freaking hot for words. And red wine is so heavy. And then rosé I do like, but I have to be in the mood for it. I don't like Moscato or very sweet wines. I like white wine because typically it is dry. But now I'm just rambling because nobody asked me about wine, so let us jump into the questions that you actually asked. So, to start, I will start with the ones on the community page that were posted publicly. The first one is from Becky, and it says, "Hey there, my question is, what do you like to do in your free time? What are your hobbies and interests?" Thank you, Becky, for asking a question. So outside of work, which is what mainly consumes my time, I am in school. That is not a hobby by any means. I am taking science prerequisites to go to nursing school. I already have my bachelor's degree, but want to further my career, and so currently I'm taking classes. So between school and working full-time, I don't have a lot of time, really, I feel like, to do anything, but, I mean, that's not true. I find time. A lot of my time is spent filming. Filming, I would say on average, it takes about an hour per video to film, but when you're a perfectionist like me, editing takes at least the same amount of time that it took to film, if not double that. So for me, let's say I'm gonna do one video from start to finish, from filming and editing. It's about 3 hours for one video. That is if everything goes well. It is so hard to film ASMR because there are so many noises that you cannot control, and like, I am not the person that can wake up at 4 a.m. to do a video. Bless those people. That is not me. I just can't do it. So I have found good time frames to do it, and I have invested in some things that have helped, you know, dampen the sound. But so, my gosh, I'm already rambling and going off tangents here. Much of my hobbies and free time is spent filming and editing. I usually spend my Sundays filming, and that's usually about 6 hours worth of time just on Sundays. But outside of that, I really like to read. I'm really into murder mystery. My gosh, go figure, shocking. I also like to kind of do arts and crafts, I guess. I like to make bracelets and necklaces, and they're like not anything super fancy or special by any means. Recently, I've been very into like the Y2K kind of bracelet look. I bought this kit to make with my boyfriend's little sister. She was starting high school 2 weeks ago, and she was so nervous. Oh my gosh, bless her heart. She was so nervous to start high school, and my boyfriend and I took the day off of work to be with her for her first day of high school, and we stayed the night at his parents' the night before, and she and I stayed up making bracelets for quite a while, just because she's such a night owl, and her parents were like, it's gonna be the first day of school, you're not really doing anything all that important, so like, no big deal, stay up late. I think we stayed up to like 12:30 with her mom, and oh my gosh, I was so tired. I'm like, oh my god, I'm almost 30, I cannot hang anymore. But anyway, so I'll show you. These are the kind of bracelets I've been making. This one is a funny nickname that my best friend has for me. It says Buff Brocky, and the Brocky comes from the fact that I like broccoli. And when I started going to the gym, she would just call me Buff Brocky. This second one is actually crystals. We have blue lace agates, we have labradorites, we have aquamarine, and we have rainbow moonstone throughout. So I have that, and then this one has my name and my boyfriend's nickname on it. I made that one the night I was with his sister. My boyfriend had actually asked that I make him one like this, so I made myself a matching one. And then this one back here, it says Bro Roe, which is in support of Roe v. Wade. And so there's just like different colors. So I've been making a lot of bracelets and kind of doing it while I just either catch up with people on the phone or sit and talk to my boyfriend or watch TV. I don't know, I really have been enjoying doing that. It's calming, it's soothing, it makes me feel grounded. So I've been doing that. And then I guess something that I'm very interested in is vinyl music. I have a record player, and I have quite the collection, I would say, of vinyls. I have modern artists to very old school artists. There is something to me about listening to music on vinyl that is so unique and so special. If you've ever listened to vinyl, it just it just hits different. It does. Like, you can hear things that you don't hear if you're streaming. I come from a very musically inclined family. My stepdad is in a jazz band and has been for a very long time. He was actually in a band at Disneyland when he was around my age. And he has a massive, massive vinyl collection. And like, he's the one that really got me into it and inspired me. So where I live in more of a metropolitan area. There's quite a few record shops or even thrift shops that have very, very cheap vinyl. And so I love going hunting for new music, which is super cool. Next question. This one is a good one. Okay, so Rebecca asks, how come you changed YouTube channels? So, I know some of you know this, and I know a lot of you probably don't, but I had a separate YouTube channel. I had that one for, oh my gosh, when did I start it? I think I started it in like April of 2020, so it was like right at the beginning of COVID. And I had been watching ASMR for years, like most of us, and I was like, you know what, it's COVID, I can't go anywhere, right? Like, the whole world is in shutdown. I wasn't in a relationship at the time. You know, I couldn't see my friends, and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to Best Buy and buy stuff to make videos. I did not start out with true crime. I did like just a bunch of random stuff. But I had that channel for like a year and a half, I would say, and I wasn't super consistent with it, but towards the end of it is when I started doing true crime. But as the question insinuates and shares, is that I switched and made a new channel, which is now Nene Whispers. The reason for that is because in that video I showed my entire face, and there was a person in and out of my life at the time that was incredibly manipulative, very mentally unstable, did not understand boundaries, was a manipulative liar. But it was somebody that, for a period of time, I believed to be a good friend, and that all flipped upside down on me. And I cut off all contact with this person. I tried setting very, very firm boundaries, which for the most part were not honored until I don't know, I feel like 6 months later, I started finally feeling good about that situation. But I had taken a break from filming. I had moved out of my hometown to a different area, which is where I'm living now. I got settled, and I was like, well, you know, I really miss filming. You know, it brought me a lot of joy to do that. So I posted a video. It was a true crime video on my other channel, and like the first comment on that video was from that guy. And I honestly can't even remember what it said, but I knew it was him based off his username in the picture, and I felt like just curling into a ball and crying, because I was like, you have tried exerting so much control over me in so many ways in the last, let's say, year. You have not respected me. You have every boundary I have tried setting. And then when I release a video, you know, you go ahead and comment basically saying, I'm watching you, or I can see you. Like, it wasn't said in those terms, but knowing how his mind operated, that's exactly how it came across. And I was like, no, screw this. I refuse to make this content and put it out there knowing that he's watching. So I was really devastated. Like, I was really upset because I had worked hard to get to where I was, and I only had I have 2,000 subscribers, which is like, it felt like a lot, but it's, you know, it's not the end of the world by any means. And so, but I also was like, I'm not gonna stop filming because I love doing this. So that's when I decided to make a different channel. This was months and months later, and only show part of my face just because I don't want to risk it, I guess. There is nothing in my in my channel name that would like give away who I am. And the thing is he watches ASMR. He is not into true crime ASMR. He's not into even whispering so much. He's more of like a visual guy or just sounds. So I wasn't even the kind of content creator that he would naturally watch. He only did it in the beginning out of support for me, and then later on as like a manipulative tactic. So anyways, that is the gist of why I switched my channel. And honestly, sometimes I've like questioned, well, should I do a face reveal? You know, like for those of you that don't know my other channel, or for those of you that don't know what I look like, because I actually used to have very blonde hair. Like, clearly my hair is very dark brown. It looks almost black in this light, but it's much lighter actually in person. And I'm like, okay, do I do a face reveal? Like, do I consistently not show my face? And you know, then my brain spirals, and I'm like, well, does he win? Does he win if I just don't show my face? You know, like all these thoughts go through my head. So for now, this is a comfort factor for me. But maybe one day I'll do a face reveal and just get over it, because, you know, at the end of the day, if the worst thing is that someone's watching my video that I don't want to, then I'm also like, well, you're kind of in the wrong business, girlfriend, because I'm choosing to put something else up publicly. So, but there you go. That's that answer. Next question on the community tab says, what are your top 3 favorite films? And that was asked by Steph. Thank you, Steph, for asking that question. Thank you, everybody, for asking your questions. So, my top 3 favorite films. My gosh, okay. Okay, number 1 favorite movie of all time. This is something that I watched growing up with my mom, and I love even more so as an adult. It's called Sabrina. No, it is not Sabrina and the Teenage Witch. It is a romance film set in England, I believe. Harrison Ford is in it when he was like probably 40. So maybe 45, pushing 50. I don't know, but he was significantly younger than he is now. And it's about this young woman that grew up living with her father. I think her mother passed away. And her father is the chauffeur for this very wealthy family. And they kind of live like on but off this rich family's property in like a really nice little house next door. And Harrison Ford is the oldest brother of this family, and they have some big techie IT company, something like that. They're very, is the chauffeur's daughter, and the family would throw these parties, like these extravagant galas and parties, out on their lawn. And she would climb up in the tree and watch. And then, like, fast forward to her becoming an adult, she ends up going to Paris to, I think, learn photography and some fashion. And then she moves back home and has kind of like undergone this transformation. And she ends up falling in love with one of the brothers. Anyways, such a good movie. It is so well done. Like, it's not a cheesy, this girl gets a makeover. It is so well done. It's beautifully executed. I loved it as a young girl, and I love it now. It's still my favorite movie to this day. Let me think about the others. Also, I just want to say, whatever is going on with this lighting is like making my skin look exceptionally aggressive, and I don't know why, and I'm offended by it. But okay. Other movies. I'm gonna say this is like top 5 of my all-time favorite movies. And I just watched it like a week ago with my boyfriend. It's called The Sound of Metal. And it's about this couple that travels in their like Airstreamer, and they are in like a metal rock band or whatever, and the drummer is the boyfriend and the girlfriend is the singer. And one day he just goes deaf from all of the loud music, and the movie is about his journey accepting what it means to be deaf. Especially when he has such a love of music and creating music. He is also an addict, and so it talks about how like grief and struggle plays into being an addict, and it was a brilliantly done movie. So beautiful, so definitely a favorite. Oh my gosh, why can't I think of another movie? I'm so indecisive. Lord have mercy. Wow. That's tough. Man. That's a struggle. Okay, I'll give you another one. Okay, this is like a series. I'm obsessed with John Wick. This Keanu Reeves. First of all, I love Keanu Reeves, and I think he's impressive because he does like 95% of his own stunts in his films. And I really do love an action film. I love a film where people go around and kick some ass. And my boyfriend and I always joke about, like, if someone pisses us off, we're like, we're gonna go John Wick on their ass, which we would never, like, not that we're even capable of that, but we would never. But I'm just gonna go with John Wick because that is one of my go-to films or series to watch when I don't know what else to watch. So I'm gonna say that those 3 are like the top in my life. Okay, and last question that's on the community tab. Brennan Schamberger asked, what is your favorite true crime case? Well, okay. Favorite is an interesting word because no true crime cases are good, right? Like, they're true crime for a reason. They're shitty. They suck. Like, they're terrible. But I get what she's asking because I say favorite like that all the time. Okay. So, I will say one of the most intriguing cases that I could like not stop watching a documentary on was on Netflix. And I mentioned it in one of my other films recently where I covered the LeBaron family. And the title of that film was like The Mormon Manson or something like that. And the Netflix documentary is called Keep Sweet, Pray, and Obey. And that documentary is about a cult of a religion called the Fundamentalists of the Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, I believe is what it's called. That is different than your typical Church of Latter-day Saints, which is what many people would refer to as Mormons. The Fundamentalists were an extremist or are an extremist group that I highly encourage you watch that documentary. When I watched it, like I binge watched it, I think it's 4 episodes. I literally did nothing but binge it. My boyfriend was playing video games and I was in the other room. In our living room we have like a TV where we usually watch movies or he'll play video games, but in our bedroom I have like a big projector and I have my bedroom walls are white and I like put no artwork on the big wall in front of my bed and we just project movies or shows. So I just laid in bed and binge watched it, and the reason I say that it's the most interesting is because I am fascinated, and again I said this in my other video, but I am fascinated by what people will do in the name of God. Like, I grew up very religious, went to a Christian school from preschool to 8th grade, went to church every Sunday. My parents were divorced, but I would go to different churches depending on the week of who I was with. I went to youth group. I would go to church camp. Like, I was that kid. And man, as I've gotten older, I have definitely walked away from the church. I think religion is an absolute man-made construct. I understand and do have my own faith and beliefs and spirituality in things, but religion itself genuinely scares me. And so with that said, that documentary was mind-blowing of like what people, like how brainwashed they got. It was such a drink the Kool-Aid kind of an experience. There was so much polygamy in that. I think the guy that they thought or considered the prophet had like 60 plus wives, and when he was on his deathbed in like his 80s, he had 18-year-old wives, and they would all have to line up in a line outside of his door every night. And one by one, they would go into his bedroom and give him a kiss goodnight and say, I love you or whatever. But every night or a couple nights a week, he would pick, like, Sally, you stay. You're gonna stay tonight and we're gonna have sex. And again, some of these girls were like 18 and they had no say in getting to marry this guy. Their mothers and fathers thought it was an honor that the prophet chose these girls, and it was so bad. And eventually the prophet's son, who becomes like the new prophet, ends up going to prison, and he still has insane amount of followers from prison. He is very fraudulent with money. They build like this big religious compound, and they basically tell their followers that they don't have to abide by the law of the United States because, he's the prophet and God told him X, Y, and Z. So, my God, anyways, anything religious based I think is buck wild, but I highly encourage you watch Keep Sweet, Pray and Obey on Netflix. And the keep sweet part is something that the eldest prophet would say prior to his death. He would tell the girls to keep sweet. So, yuck. Okay, me go ahead and pull up the other questions that I have in my Gmail. Okay, I'm not going to read names on this one because they wanted to be anonymous, but the first question is, do you have any children? Okay, so like I said, guys, I'm an open book. Whenever I get asked this question, my answer is always yes. I do have a child. However, and nobody please feel bad, my son passed away when he was 18 months old, and that was in 2018. So yes, like, if you know anybody that's lost a child, like, I'm gonna say 99% of us will always say yes, we have children. They're just no longer living. Like, say your grandma dies, you know, you're not gonna be like, no, I don't have grandparents. You're gonna say my grandma passed away. And that's the same case for my son. He had severe disabilities, and that was because of a labor and delivery trauma. He was in the ICU for 3 months after his birth. Excuse me. And for the 18 months that he was alive, I was pretty much in and out of the hospital with him every 3 to 4 weeks for at least a week at a time. Interestingly enough, the work that I do now is in end-of-life care, which I have mentioned in other videos, and the only reason I got into that line of work was because of my son. And I love the work that I do. I feel so blessed and grateful. I love waking up every day and going to work. I'm a manager for our hospice location, and it's the greatest job I've ever had. It's a hard job and an emotionally draining job, but I know that because I had my son and everything that transpired, he put me in this place. Like, he created that trajectory for me. So, not that I would ever wish that this is the way that my life went, right? Like, I miss my son every day. I love him dearly. But considering the circumstances, my life is very good still. I love my job. I have an incredible partner who is not my son's father. That was a shit show. But I have found a way to move through my grief and heal and make something good out of the life that I get to live, because I always tell myself, like, on the hardest days, you know, my son didn't get to live more than not even 2 years, and if I'm the one that gets to live, then I better make the best of it while I'm here. So thank you so much for asking that question. I never, ever, ever, ever have any issue talking about my son. I'm not uncomfortable by it. I know it makes people uncomfortable when they hear that he passed away, but I'm an open book, and if anyone ever has questions about that, go ahead and comment them down below or email me, or I can do a video on the whole thing. Open book, nothing to hide on my side. So let me pull up our next question. Okay, so the next question is, what is one thing that you would tell your younger self? Great question. Oh my gosh. So, interestingly enough, I kind of feel like, okay, so like I said, I was making these cute fun bracelets with my boyfriend's little sister. She just turned 14. They don't have any other siblings. So my boyfriend and I are like, oh my god, almost 15 years older than his younger sister. Their parents had them pretty far apart, clearly. So it's so interesting because I am very similar to his little sister. My boyfriend boyfriend is very outgoing, very, very extroverted. Everybody loves him. He's so funny. I'm funny too. Like, I'm funny, but do people only get that side of me? Like, I have a very morbid sense of humor, but only the people closest to me kind of get me, like, unfiltered. Whereas he has no problem and no shame showing that side of him to anybody, which I very much envy that. But his little sister can be very quiet. She's very self-conscious. I'm not so much anymore, but again, I'm almost 30, and I'm at the point in my life where I'm just like, bro, take me or leave me. I don't give a shit. I love who I am, but when I was her age at 14, I didn't. And you know, she and I were talking with her brother, who's my boyfriend, about like going into high school. And my boyfriend, if you have not watched our videos, he is black and I am white, and so there are interesting things that come along with that, which, my god, I can make a whole video on that topic. But his little sister was nervous about starting high school being black. She is a little bit overweight, and you know, kids can be cruel. I was bullied in school, and I just wish when I was her age that I believed wholeheartedly that I was worthy as myself in that way. Like, I didn't need to change for anybody else. I didn't need to go to this party. You know, I was cool even though I didn't want to drink or smoke or, you know, I just wish that I knew and believed that I was worthy as I was, and I didn't need to impress people. And if somebody wanted me to do something that I wasn't comfortable with, then good riddance, you know. But for me, I know this about myself, and I'm not so much like this anymore. I have really good boundaries, but when I was her age, I was such a people pleaser. I just wanted to keep the peace. And I suffered because of that in a lot of ways, and I made bad choices for myself that there were consequences for, you know, like nothing illegal, but like emotional consequences for myself that took me a long time to heal from. And in that time, you know, when you're 14, you know, you think you're grown up, but my gosh, little do you know, there's so much life you don't know about. And, you know, I don't know, like, I just remember who I was at 14 and wish I loved myself more. And so have tried so hard to instill that in my boyfriend's little sister, because she's beautiful, she's lovely, everybody is lovely the way that they are. You know, we should accept ourselves. And my gosh, when I was in high school 15 years ago, bullying was hardcore, and cyberbullying, and I cannot even imagine what it's like now. So I hope that gave you an answer. Now I'm just rambling. Thank you. We can all thank the wine for that, but that's my answer. Okay, next question. Who are your favorite ASMR artists? Ooh, this is a good one. Okay. Well, oh god, that's so hard. Okay. The reason I say that's hard is because I listen to a bunch of different artists. Okay, let me start with true crime. So, if I had to, I'm gonna say this on the basis of storytelling. Nene Whispers. I love me some Nene Whispers. I like her whispers. I like her soft spoken. I love when she has a cocktail in her drink. A cocktail in her I love when she makes it in front of you and you can hear the ice, and she talks you through what she's making. I think she's adorable. And her storytelling is on another level. She's so good, and she does cases that either I haven't heard of or kind of goes down like more of a conspiracy theory path, or like alien stories, and she's just very intriguing. She's actually somebody that I'll listen to in my headphones at work. So I think that's something about me. Like, there's different kind of ASMRs for me. There's like the ASMR I'll fall asleep to, and then there's the ASMR that I'll listen to at work in my headphones, or like when I'm cleaning around the house. Well, Leah more so is somebody that I'll listen to at work or cleaning around the house because I want to listen to the story. But the other person that I'm very much obsessed with, my dear Lord, is Sarah ASMR. Hers are both for me. I will absolutely fall asleep to her videos, not retain a thing, and have to watch it the next day because she's so relaxing. But she is from the United States, but she's currently living in Japan as a teacher, and she does cover some true crime. But she'll also just do like rambles or story times about what it's like living in Japan and the gossip and drama of teaching in like Japanese culture and society, and it's quite fascinating. But her voice is amazing, so you guys should check her out. Let me think, who else? Okay, I know I'm gonna pronounce this wrong. I think it's either Moonraker or Moonraker. Oh my god, I don't know. It's Moonraker ASMR, I think, and she does a lot of true crime. She's European of some sort, so she has a beautiful accent, and it's so soothing. Oh my gosh, on that note, I have been curious for my non-American viewers, what is it like hearing an American voice? Is it as soothing and comforting and mysterious as it is for us in the United States when we hear different accents from around the world? I'm always so curious about that. And I'm trying to think if there's anyone else that like is my go-to. Oh, another go-to is ASMR October. I think I subscribed to her when she was at like, no joke, like 100 subscribers, and she's nearing 4,000, or is there, but she's close. I love her videos. There is not a single one that I don't like. It feels like you're just sitting in a room with her, hanging out and talking, and she's so, what's the word for it? She is so animated in a way, but like it's also soothing, and she's either in New York or New Jersey, and she has that kind of an accent and that kind of like personality to her. And I'll never forget, like, I don't know why this video stands out to me. It was after her wedding. It's also been very cool to watch her journey of dating to getting engaged to getting married and going on their honeymoon. But I don't know why I loved this video so much. She did a video after her wedding where she like spilled the tea about the drama that ensued at her wedding with family members. She was eating these little airhead candies that were like favors from her wedding, and like it felt like you saw this very authentic side of her, and I loved it. Like, she was so emotive, funny, but also relaxing, and I personally love the sound of hard candies or chewing on candy or gum chewing. I personally love it. I know it's not for everybody, but she does have that in her videos a lot, or will eat in her videos, and I just love her across the board. She also does true crime sometimes, not a lot, but here and there. Oh my god, okay, I remembered. Okay, the last ASMR artist that I will share, adore her. Her name is Jeannie B. That's Jeannie B. Jeannie B as in boy, ASMR. Jeannie gives off Julie Andrews, your comforting, non-judgmental auntie vibes. She is a huge fan of Maria from Gentle Whispering, who is like the ASMR OG. I know that Maria shouted her out on her channel, and Jeannie is like, oh my god, her numbers are just skyrocketing if you follow that. When I started following Jeannie, I think she was at about 3,000 subscribers, and that was maybe 3 weeks ago at the latest. And now she's like 35,000. She's just blowing up. Jeannie's videos are so, oh my gosh, I don't even know the word. You'll have to watch for yourself. It's nothing like true crime. Like, I don't think you'd ever see that on her channel. But it feels like you're sitting with your mom or your aunt, and she's thoughtful. She is deep. She has such this skill of articulation. And she's just so comforting. Oh my gosh. She lives in California like I do, and we're actually maybe an hour from each other. And she and I actually email back and forth, and I call her Auntie Nene because she told me that's what her nieces and nephews call her. So that's what I'm calling her, because she's just so great and I love her videos. So she's definitely one that I will fall asleep to, but also listen to at work. Okay, so let me go ahead and take a look at our last question. I have more questions, but this video is longer than I expected, so I may have to do a part 2. Okay, this one says, are you religious or spiritual? So, I touched on this a little bit earlier. Excuse me. I swear to God, you guys, filming ASMR is so hard sometimes. You have to like time when you eat, when you drink, because your esophagus and stomach just really want to throw hands when you're filming. So anyways, okay, it said, and I read that wrong, I'm sorry. It said, are you religious, spiritual, or none of the above? I would call myself spiritual. Like I mentioned earlier, I have very deep roots in the Christian church. I went to Christian school, different churches, all of that jazz. My father is still very religious. My mother, not so much. So I identify as spiritual. I believe in a higher power. I personally look at the world around me, and I cannot fathom how there is not a higher being. And again, I don't think I said this yet. Let me say, this is my belief. This is my opinion. If yours differs, that is all fine and dandy. No harm, no foul. But this is me. I cannot look at the world around us and think that there's nothing beyond us here. Do I call that God? I don't know. I struggle with this a lot because, and I'll tell you why. Over the years, I have had a very challenging time with people that claim to be religious, but have done horrific things, unforgivable things. And the way that I was raised, I'll tell you this, and what I learned growing up in the church is that Jesus Christ sat with the broken. He sat with all of the people that modern day Christians would not call righteous and or worthy. And what I was raised to believe was that Jesus and God were entities of love. And I believe that the church has walked so far away from that belief that I don't know how to resonate with that anymore. So I do believe in a higher power. I believe that there's something more than us. I grew up and was taught creationism, which creationism is the teaching that God created the heavens and the earth, that on the seventh day he rested. All of what you can read in the book of Genesis, where if you go to public school, you are taught science, which is the Big Bang Theory and evolution and all those things. And it's interesting because I've had to teach myself those things as an adult because I never learned them. I feel connected to something. Part of me feels like because my son died, I don't want to believe that there's nothing after death. I want to believe that I'll see him again one day. I want to believe that in some universe or on some level or realm, we're still connected, that he can feel me, that I can feel his energy, that I can lay in bed at night if I can't sleep and say, Noah, I love you. You know, it's stuff like that that I so desperately want to believe that there is something out there. But what that is, I don't know. And it's something that has actually been very challenging for me to grasp because I spent so much time studying and reading the Bible and being like, I'm a diehard Christian. That's who I am. But so many things have changed my beliefs over the years, and I guess not to get like super political, but the overturning of Roe v. Wade recently here in the United States was soul crushing because I work in the healthcare field and I believe a woman has the right to choose. I do. And you know, you don't have to like abortion. I don't think anybody necessarily likes abortion, but I do think that people should have the right to choose, women, you know, what goes on with their body. And there were so many religious people from my past I saw celebrating that this was being overturned, and I just remember sitting there thinking like you rejoicing over the fact that you are taking a medical right away from women of this country. I definitely want to come to church now, like, because they were saying it in the name of God, like this is what God would want. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, I'm definitely coming to church on Sunday. No, like the God that I was taught about and the Jesus that I was taught about would have been there with the person getting the abortion, in my opinion. They would have loved them regardless. They would have welcomed them with open arms. And okay, oh my God, I could ramble on this forever, but long story short, not so short. I'm spiritual. I believe in something. I feel connected to the earth and nature, and I can feel the vibrations of crystals, and I love meditating, and I feel so safe in those spaces. And to a lot of people, that's just silly and crazy and fine. Like, I don't care. But for me, that's enough. At least right now, until I feel like I've gotten all the answers. My stepfather is an atheist, and I don't understand that. And it's not a judgment. I have no judgment. Like, okay, to put it into perspective for you, my father, who is the most religious man on the planet, but in a cool way, like he's not super judgmental, and like my family has a lot of gay friends and like transgender friends, and it is what it is. Like my dad's like, okay, that's cool. Come on over and let's have a cocktail. Like, they don't care, which I adore and respect the hell out of. But my dad knows that my stepdad is atheist. And my mom and my dad and stepdad are all friends. They worked very hard at that, but they are. And my dad has said that he thinks my stepdad is the closest thing to Jesus Christ, because my stepdad is so loving, so compassionate, so non-judgmental, so accepting. He is just one of the greatest people you'll ever meet. But he's an atheist, and it's so funny to me when my dad says that, because this is coming from my very religious father, who knows that my stepdad's an atheist, and despite all that, he was like, oh yes, he's the closest thing to Jesus Christ. So, okay, again, I'm rambling. We all know why. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the video here. I hope that you guys enjoyed this bonus video. I am very appreciative of those of you that asked questions. Please, down below, if you have any more questions for me, go ahead and ask, because I will do a part 2. I do have a video in the works that my boyfriend and I are filming together that people have asked on one of our videos to answer some questions about us and our beliefs and, you know, just more basic silly things. So go ahead and comment down below if you have any more questions, and I will get to them in the next video. Thank you guys for joining me today, having a drink with me, and I will see you